Hey guys, Veebat here with another V-Plays, taking a look at the P-47N Thunderbolt. This aircraft has an interesting history and also an interesting nickname. This aircraft was called the Jug due to the very, jug-like appearance of the aircraft. This aircraft in World of Warplanes is more of a air-to-ground multi-role, if you would. Most multi-roles carry some form of air-to-ground munition. However, this line seems to particularly like to emphasize it. So we are equipped with two 500-pound bombs and a total of 10 5-inch rockets. That's more than any of the previous Corsairs could claim to have. And here we are in an attrition game mode. Now, this aircraft also sports a very interesting armament of 8 50 cal machine guns, able to pump out a lot of damage very easily. Now, this is not a very maneuverable aircraft, and as you saw there, my aircraft slowly slid to the right once I lost my control surface. In fact, I give a kudos to the guy who did it, because I was in a dive and a little bit out of control. But this aircraft, what it lacks in maneuverability, it seems to make up for in overall speed. The 47s in this game are very fast. Now, we only have the second engine upgrade as of right now, but I think you'll be quite impressed with how quickly the aircraft can accelerate, climb, and maneuver around the battlefield. An interesting inherent trait to this aircraft is that it seems to accelerate very quickly in a dive, probably because it's so friggin' heavy. The history of this aircraft is that it was originally used as kind of an escort aircraft in the European theater, but the problem that it faced is it had a huge engine, burned a ton of fuel, and could not stay with the bombers long enough to escort them all the way to the targets deep within Germany. And that's where the claim to fame came for the Mustangs, since they were able to do just that. This airframe, on the other hand, does not suffer from any type of fuel consumption in this game, so we just get to reap the benefits of a massive engine, massive firepower, and incredible air-to-ground ordnance. Now you can see me going to work on this heavy aircraft with these 8 50 cal machine guns, and you can see once they finally get on target, they are able to absolutely shred this airframe and remove him from the battlefield quite effectively. And that was our ME-410 from one of our previous videos, and we know how beefy that thing can be, as well as speedy. Meanwhile, this aircraft likes to cruise at over 350 miles an hour and can easily boost well over 400, and at tier 7 that's quite impressive. Now in this battle, I am focusing primarily on very high hit point aircraft. Not just because I have the gun power to be able to pump out the damage, but also they're going to be a little bit less maneuverable, so I know where my strengths are and I'm going to play to them. I am offloading the air-to-ground munitions as I get them in order to maximize the amount of points I'm getting as well as damage to the ground targets to help my team out. Now you're going to see me go from nearly 500 feet all the way up to engage an A-26B. And you'll see once I'm able to get these guns on target, it'll be quite effective. Now, I was doing a weird roll maneuver there, and for those of you who aren't familiar, the AA will miss a lot more if you do just a simple aileron roll and spin with your aircraft. It will help quite a bit in being able to continue onto a target, like if you need to go in a straight line, and not get hit as bad during that movement. Here we are carefully placing our 500-pound bombs. They are not going to be enough to outright destroy that facility, but it will cause enough damage to be able to give us a hand. Now you saw there another aileron rolled in order to minimize the amount of damage incoming on my aircraft. The P-47 also sports a pretty impressive hit point pool of 400 plus. This aircraft can really take a bit of a beating, which is totally fine because it looks like this LA-5 wants to run into me, and I'm totally fine with that. You'll notice that I ignored the aircraft because it isn't for me to go after and try and turn with a light fighter. I'm going to stick to the aircraft that I feel comfortable engaging, and with my engine power it allows me to be able to disengage from a lot of the light fighters since they won't be able to keep up with me. And for those heavier aircraft, heavy fighters in particular, they're not going to be able to get away from me because of that impressive engine power. Now, we are at a bit of a disadvantage cap-wise right now, which is giving the enemy a ×2 multiplier for this attrition game mode. I'm trying to get back into the center and try and defend this command center since it's the only site we have, and help my friends out here so that way the command center can keep bringing bombers in on the enemy and pulling the bots away from important objectives. Now I see that this is a player here, and I'm going to put a little bit of focus onto him and try to get as much damage as I possibly can on him. But it looks like he isn't interested in me, and that's totally fine because I'm going to go after another target. It isn't until this moment I realized that I apparently have a wingman, so good news is he was destroyed by AA there, which is why I got credit for the kill. If you cause enough damage to an enemy aircraft and he's killed by base defenses, you'll get the full credit for it, so feel free to take advantage. Highly recommended. I will try and pick off some lighter targets here and there, but I really want to go after this heavy. And you'll see that he's starting to pull away from me, but I'm going to use the powerful engine I have at my disposal to close the distance and get all of those 8 machine guns on target very quickly. Now we have all of our air-to-ground ordnance back, but then I noticed that there's an aircraft, and F4U1 is slightly more maneuverable than me, but I have no problem coming in here and helping my ally out and removing this aircraft from the battlefield. Yep, there we go. He's down, and there's my buddy over here, the P-47N. He's behind the mountain, so he can't see me, and as he crests the ridge, I put a few shots into him, and he wants to do that bot scissor maneuver with me. That's totally fine. I'm just as maneuverable as you are, and I'm a player, so I know how to turn that fight in my favor. He also had quite a few blues on him. Again, offloading the ordnance. I noticed that this site is damaged, probably from when we engaged earlier, and I'm going to use my rockets to very choicely take out a bunch of those ground targets. We missed one, so we're going to do kind of an Endelman here. Slowing down, getting some altitude, and then bringing the nose back around. Now, I don't really want to stay here, but I do want to get rid of some of these AA if I can do it. I was aiming at the target icon for the AA, not the actual AA piece, so that was a mistake on my part. I see this aircraft diving on me, I put a good amount of damage into him, but I also lost my control surface, and I realized that's not engagement I want to be in, and I don't want to be in that AA. I still had a rocket left, so I discharged that to start the 120-second timer. 2 minutes is not bad for a reload for 10 rockets. I'll gladly pay that time cost in order for me to get that significant armament back. The enemy did get the command center, but we're ahead on we're ahead on kill points right now, so we are winning this attrition game mode. I see right here that there is an AA piece that's ripping me up, so I put a little bit of damage into him, and now I'm going to cross the ridge and help out my buddy in the heavy that seems to be getting chased down by 3 aircraft. One is disengaged, one is destroyed. They got him, unfortunately, but now it's my turn to spin around and try and turn the tables on him. This aircraft is ignoring me, and I'm totally fine with that because you can see how quickly the combined fire from me and my ally was able to destroy that aircraft. Now, unfortunately, Dwight decided to get some revenge from when I killed him earlier, but that's quite alright. We'll come back, and we should have our armament back very shortly, so we can try and help flip some of these capture zones again. I'm ignoring the bombers. The bombers are a distraction, and I would rather focus on the aircraft in this attrition mode because we are currently... Oh, now we have the advantage. Looks like my team was able to get that airfield. Now this tornado is fixated on going after my bots, so we're going to take advantage of that. And even though he was maneuvering, it's hard to dodge 850 kills. Now, this is unintentional, but a tactic you may be able to use. If you see a heavy aircraft running towards the boundary line, he will turn once he hits the boundary, and you'll be able to finish closing on the distance. Now, you saw I was firing outside of the optimum gun range, but by the time his health bar reappeared, he was really low on health. it's quite alright to just hammer down on the trigger with this airframe because you just have such a long overheat time that it's not a big deal to fire. As long as you're still getting those hit noises, you know that you're doing an effective job against the enemy. At the very least, you're causing him damage. This aircraft's coming head on, and the combined fire of my team knocks him out wholeheartedly. I do see that there's some aircraft going after my stronghold over here, so we're going to redirect our efforts over here. There is a light fighter, as well as a bomber, it looks like. So let's see what we can do here to help out. Bomber again is at high altitude, but we got plenty of boost. And you can see we can just power through the climb. This aircraft is not meant to operate at higher altitude. You'll see about 5,000 feet is where this aircraft is comfortable. Anything above that will be quite a hindrance to its capabilities. But look how much damage is going on this aircraft from just 50 cals. I'm sure a lot of you have gone after an aircraft with your Mustangs and discovered that you had a heck of a time taking them out. The only reason we're having a problem now is that he managed to take out my pilot, which is unfortunate. Now, I know I'm not supposed to be up here, and I don't want to be playing with that aircraft, and look how quickly we accelerate with our nose down. The battle's over. Quite a successful run for us. Nearly 17,000 personal points. We managed to get a winged legend as well as a guardian. All in all, a decent battle, and really epitomizes what I think this aircraft should be used for. Taking out ground targets opportunistically. I like to drop the munitions like they're parasites on my aircraft. I got to get rid of them as soon as humanly possible. And then I'll bring the guns to bear against enemy aircraft that I know I can engage. Heavies and ground attackers primarily. As you can see, we're not fully upgraded. The 50 cals you get on this aircraft are quite substantial and are actually going to be on par with that of the P-51H, which is a Tier 8 light fighters. So you actually get a little bit of an advancement here because they know that you're not going to be able to turn like a lot of those other light fighters can. So they give you a little bit of a damage boost. When it comes to equipment, I am running this thing like I would a heavy. The thing is optimized for speed, so I gave it aircraft polish and as well as engine tuning for more engine power. And I have the gun sight on there to try and get all of those 50s on target as quickly as possible. And that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys liked the video, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.